Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Judge jumped to 210 billion. The hard fork, breaking news, has been suspended, to be announced. I'll leave this link in the description, but basically it's over for now. And so basically post fork is now. Right now it's post fork. And how is the market reacting? Bitcoin just shot up really close to 8,000. Sitting at about 7.7 thousand right now. Everything really got a nice jump from the top. Just a lot of green in the market, because what's happening now is everyone's looking around, realizing they're not going to get, their Segwit. Let's see what the futures plummeted to. Yeah, 360. So people realize that they're not going to be getting their futures. So everyone really, it's kind of funny because Bitcoin got a really big boost from it, because I believe a lot of big money was kind of hesitating. I wouldn't want to be putting $1 billion in before a malicious fork attack. And that's what it was. So now what that did was just give incredible amount of confidence to the real Bitcoin, and everyone's really flooding towards that, because it's like, hey, the enemy backed down, Bitcoin Gold's over with. At the same time, these alts are starting to see love because they're so cheap. And right now it's kind of like a scramble. I really should be live right now, but my internet does not permit it. I'm supposed to be getting the upgrade today, but this would be a lot better live. But basically, right now is a really good time to scramble and get those alts that you might have been waiting for. I know a lot of people, this is the exact reason I went alt hunting earlier in the month, because I learned from my mistakes in July, and I realized that I could have got, a lot better deal if I didn't save most of my egg. I saved a good chunk of my eggs for right before the fork, and I had to pay a little bit of a premium. It still ended up really good when, I was getting basic attention token for 5 cents, and it shot up to over 30 cents within a month. But right now, people are looking around. They're like, all right, no more Segwit2x, and that's not happening. I have very, very, very expensive Bitcoin, right? Well, it's very cheap in the scheme of things, but for how far? You got to remember what I talk about, the awareness. So Bitcoin will jump in awareness, and this circle needs to fill out before it hits the outer rim of that circle. And that's what it does. And then it'll resonate in this awareness. So this is what happens. You get new awareness. You look at it as a circle. We push this awareness out. Now it's a little bit further. And the price, boom, binks off that circle I'm talking about, and then it marinates in its awareness. Because once you spread awareness, it's new, and it has to resonate, it has to mature, and you're going to lose a lot of that awareness, because some people just get in unaware. Once they are aware, they might think to cash out, or they might become long-term hoarders. And we just keep getting bumped up. Anytime Jamie Dimon says something, or Warren Buffett, or somebody with a lot of stature, Mark Cuban, anybody that says something about Bitcoin, good or bad, it's spreading that awareness big, big, big. It was the best thing you could ever have. That's why they always say haters are just as good, because, when people were talking bad about Bitcoin, it just let them know, people who didn't know what Bitcoin was. And then the price just going up. The more, it's just kind of like people, the awareness for Bitcoin is raising every day. The awareness for how useless fiat money actually is going up every day. That's what I'm most impressed with, is the fiat awareness. People are realizing how bad fiat is. And every single day, that's a really good thing, because then it makes things. And then people are understanding, like, because people keep saying, oh, well, gold this, gold that. And it's kind of like, gold's the same thing. Like, gold only has value. Watch that movie. Me and my girlfriend are watching the show, The Bubble, or The Dome. Watch that show. Gold wouldn't do you a bitch-ass thing inside that dome. Food and water. If you're outside the dome, then anything's game, including Bitcoin, because it's all a fairy fucking dust tail. It all doesn't make any fucking sense when you're under a dome and you need food and water. You can't do anything with fucking gold. What are you going to do with gold? Nothing. What are you going to do with paper bills? Nothing. Food, water, that's all that really matters. Maybe some fucking guns, protect yourself. But at the end of the day, that's what's real value. And everything else is just a means of making it easy for us to get that shit. Because without a means to send value from point A to point B, it's worthless, right? Because then we become cave people again. you know, because we can't communicate across, we can't send value across countries without, you know, having to take days and days and days. That's why Bitcoin's so fucking powerful, because we live in a, hey, okay, we all want a convenient life. So we're going to have this trust system where we give these quote unquote dollars value so we can fucking live every day. And I can go to the store and it won't take fucking a year to get my goods, right? So it's a big convenience thing, and everyone's down with that. Everyone's down with the quote unquote monetary game, where we understand we give some kind of magical value to something to make life fucking reasonable. But for everybody's like saying, oh, well, gold, because I can put my hands on it. It's like, you know, I can put my fucking hands on my dick, but it's not going to do me any good when I'm hungry. And it's the same thing with gold. So that's just these old people that just, I don't know, they just have to touch something. As far as a lot of old pedophilia, so we got to touch something, don't they? So I think that Bitcoin is just by far the best thing when it comes to playing this game we're in to send value from point A to point B. It's hands down the best, and there's nothing to be able to stop it. So there's just a lot of good alts now, right? Though, just if you can see all the jumps happening, if you were timing your bets right, still, you know, some alts take a little bit of time to wake up, and there's still a lot of good deals out there, a lot of good deals on a lot of good quotes. I did so when I was seeing Bitcoin shoot up, I was going to cancel all my lures, but I had set such low ambitious lures. I'm just going to keep an eye on them, and I'll start to lower them with the ebb and flow if I start to see anything. What's going to happen now? It's very, very hard. I'm saying it's slanted towards, it's not, I can't tell, like, you would think, okay, so the fork is gone, the quote unquote free money's gone, so people might dump their Bitcoin into altcoin, and Bitcoin might have like a small quote unquote correction, whatever you want to call it. It might go down a little bit. I don't like the fucking correction. I don't like that word, because the Bitcoin should be worth $1 million fucking dollars. So nothing's correct about it going down. It's just a law of human nature. People take when it's high, you know, they sell when it's high and then they try to buy it back lower. It's just a fucking game. That's all it is. But the Bitcoin, I see it as $1 million. So doesn't, you know, the quote unquote correction doesn't, I don't like those terms, but whatever. The point I'm trying to make is it would make sense that since it's so high up and the alts are so low that you would see Bitcoin take a dip. However, it would also make perfect sense that the big money gets into Bitcoin and this bitch jumps over $10,000. That would also, I would not be, you gotta ask yourself, would you be surprised if Bitcoin went over 10,000, or would you be surprised if Bitcoin went down to 5,000? Either way, it would be like, you know, I can kind of understand both points. Like, and I just think that there's so much fucking leverage with Bitcoin. There's so much power with Bitcoin. All those Segwit2x people, supporters, what are they going to do, right? They're going to buy Bitcoin Cash or Bitcoin. And maybe Litecoin, who knows? Litecoin was pumping prior to this news, which I thought was interesting. So it's just a very interesting time. You just absolutely have to love it. What am I going to be doing today? I'm going to be watching fucking YouTube. I'm going to be reading articles. I'm going to be getting down all of this information. That's all I'm going to be doing today. I'm supposed to get my brand new internet today. If I do, might do a live show tomorrow. That would be pretty cool. But we will see. The market cap is so close. You know, I was saying a $250 billion by Christmas. It was a very ambitious goal. I was saying that I said that when we had 60 billion market cap during that July crash. I was like, by the end of the year, it's $250 billion. So, you know, we're not even December yet, and we're at we hit 210, right? And we're leading into those winter months. We're leading into those months where, you know, the money starts coming out, and especially in the January. That's where I think, you know, worst case scenario, that's when we're going to hit that mark. But, you know, 200 billion, I claimed that. We cleared that with ease. 250 on the way. There's no reason not. The money can only go to some place. People like their variety. People, the altcoins that are putting in work right now, the ones that have been putting in work and that are going to be around no matter what, they're just going to be fighting and fighting and fighting. That's where my money is, because crypto is going up in value. The market cap in crypto is going to go up in value. That's what I believe. And if I have my money in coins that are going to be around as this market cap grows, and they're going to be fighting for share of that, they're going to grow too. So that's how I hedge my bets, because it's very hard. People put their money into projects that they don't get intimate with, and that is the problem. I get intimate with my investments. That's why I don't lose. I know what's going to happen tomorrow and the next week. I know that we're going to be fighting hurdles and there's no quit. And that's where your money is best served. Your investments are best served. They always are. Why would you put it in a blind bucket? A lot of people like to put in IOTA. I'm not fucking hating on IOTA. IOTA is probably going to be a balling ass thing, but then they get surprised when it loses half its value. And I was like, well, what's going on? They're like, oh, well, I look at the updates. I was like, well, that's cool and all, like, you know, but if you're going to invest in a quote unquote altcoin, right? Because you have Bitcoin. That's the thing you could put your blind faith in. You don't even have to put blind faith because it's open source and you can see GitHub, you can see all the updates. There's a lot of info to see what's going on with Bitcoin. But I'm not saying like, you know, a lot of people aren't going to be able to be chilling with the core team and understand, you know, so it's very hard to, it's harder to get intimate with things like that in Ethereum. You know, it's going to be hollering at Vitalik on Saturday night. So same with Bitcoin Cash with Roger Ver. So, you know, I'm saying once you start to get down the rung, I always like to pick these good opportunities where I can get in at the bottom of a good idea and get friends with them. That's where it happens. You find new projects, you put in value, and you become friends with the CEO. It's not just about business. You become friends. You build a relationship. Me and Raphael and No Limit Coin, we built a relationship. We're like friends now. We can go out for a drink. 2-3 years from now, if my same self tried to approach Raphael, it wouldn't happen because he'd be too big. You wouldn't have time to hear it. And that's all I'm saying. Like, you have to find, you know, a little bit of belief, a little bit of searching. A lot of people want to make the millions, but they don't understand it. It's a search. It's a hunt. You have to go for it. It's not going to fall in your lap. You really have to take some chances. That's where the money is made. It's kind of like when you're working out and you feel the burn, but you want to turn back. But that's where that growth is. The growth in crypto or in any investment is when you're not quite sure. When it's a little bit of risk, when it feels funny. That's the only time you're going to make money, because when it feels funny to you, it's going to feel funny to a billion other people. And when stuff feels funny, most of the people don't go for it. So that means there's a less, you know, there's a little that get in. And if it turns out the overhead's going to be greater, right? Because everyone knows a smaller project has more room to grow than something that's overhyped when you get into it. And you're already paying a premium. You know, you want to go to the people who are down and need the help. And, you know, you can really make a difference. I can't stress that enough. It's getting harder and harder by the day because there's, 1,000 more coins than when I was hunting just 5 months ago. But the game is still the same. The principles are still the same. The billionaire mindset is still the same. You're a billionaire today if you have the mindset. Cash doesn't mean shit. This is all game we're playing. The game could be flipped. Giant dome could be put over your city and your fucking money become worthless. You have to you have to remember that the money don't make the mind makes the money. So you have to have the mind right. Billionaire mindset starts today. You're a billionaire the moment you declare yourself a billionaire, the moment you have the mindset to actually get there, right? Because that unlocks the keys. Everything else flows. So just the billionaire mindset is to find value when it needs value. Find value when it needs value. If you can find a gem that needs to be polished, you find a diamond that's in the rough, and the only thing separating that diamond from success is someone wiping the fucking dirt off. You find value that needs value. That's when you're going to create a lot of value for yourself. I'm going to put value in my, that's one of my keywords today. So just a really good time. It's hard to go wrong here, right? Unless you're just picking on like a coin that's not great. But if you're really, do your due diligence, it's very hard to go wrong, because even if you just put a little bit of that elbow grease, that's going to put you ahead of 95% of people, because a lot of people just don't do the work. I talk to a lot of prominent people, and yeah, there's the quality ones, you know, the ones that are putting in work. You're probably watching their YouTube channels, right? If you're watching their YouTube channels, then they're probably putting enough work, right? But there's a lot of prominent people behind the scenes that you can tell that they have lazy money, aka they fucked over a lot of people, or they had like inside information, or the game was rigged on their end, or they inherited it. It just fell in their lap. You can see they didn't have to do a day of work in their life. And crypto is a foreign beast to these people. It's like throwing them from the nice little penthouse into the fucking jungle. And none of them are comfortable. None of them want to look wrong. None of them want to fucking, all of them are lost. They all investing in Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Litecoin, Dash. That's their thing. They're so far removed from these fucking altcoins at the bottom. They don't know what they're so far removed from that. That's like going and telling your grandma to go get that fucking python out of a jungle tree. It's like, okay, yeah, that's not going to happen. And that's how I feel when I talk to a lot of these people. A lot of them are just clueless on the altcoins, real big on ICOs, but yeah, they got burned because they invested in Chainlink and Enigma and all of the, Kick and all these $100 million ICOs. Not holler, I'm not hating on any of them. I'm just saying that that's what happens when you overhype something. People are coming out stunting like, oh, we're worth $500 million because crypto is the hype right now. And it's like, I've done a lot of advising for ICOs, and that's the first thing I have to tell people is, hey, check yourself. You got to be humble. You're not worth fucking a quarter of what you're saying you're worth. And a lot of them get offended, but I don't care. I'm not in for emotions. I'm in it for the win. And the ones that listen to me do very well. Obviously, I don't pick bad ICOs. And just really good time right now. That's why hacking ICO. I don't talk about a lot of ICOs. I'm not somebody who's just talking about every fucking ICO. I'm not one of those YouTube channels. When I talk about ICO, it makes a difference. If you think about the parity hack or the parity glitch, wherever with all that fucking money, dude, hacking is the white hat hackers. This coin is just prime pickings to be a very, very needed coin in the very immediate ASAP future. So, and I have some inside information on some big news coming out for them. I'm not I keep my lips sealed, but if I'm investing in something, it's kind of like when I look at Roger Ver doing something, it's kind of like, well, he's not a fucking idiot. Why is he doing it? So, I still don't know if the Bitcoin Cash move has failed on his part, or it wasn't really a fail. It can't fail, right? Like it went up, so he's in the green regardless. But just his support of it and him having so many and his big backing of Bitcoin Cash, I just still question it. I don't know if it was like sort of a didn't go his way, if he still has some big kaboom left in the cannon. Is he going to come back to the Bitcoin and start supporting this again? Because holler at Roger, we could use your fucking help. I know how you feel with, wanting to keep it with just the block size, just this block size increase like in the white paper. You don't want to add any of this stuff and the censorship. But man, I wish he'd fucking come back to Team Bitcoin. And or I can't bitch and moan. It is what it is. I'm still just, that's one of those great mysteries. What the fuck? The Bitcoin Cash. I don't spend too much of my time racking my brain over what other people do, but I do take hint when big mountains move, and I do document and try to understand it just for my own benefit, but I don't spend too much fucking time. What was I saying about Walton? I was saying Walton was an easy buy before the fork. I mean, just 40 fucking %, man. This thing was $4 the other day. And I'm just saying, like, free Walton, free this. Easy fucking money, guys. God, I mean, I can't, it's just day after day after day, just so much value. I don't even have to go check my Blockfolio or whatever. I just know my piles are a lot fucking bigger now than they were just 2 days ago. So it's hard to go wrong. And a lot of these coins are yet to hit that, but a lot of them are going to go 40, 50%. You're about to see that. In my opinion, I think the floodgates have broken. I think we're about to see some crazy shit. We're about to see the zoo animals come out. Yeah, so okay, we're starting to see this. We're starting to probably see some alts start to really, really gain that. Populace is up. Yeah, just going to probably sit back, data mine today. But yeah, there's not much else to talk about. We kill it here. Cheers. Peace.